Welcome again to What's Up Wednesday. This is the third in a four-part series about career planning. Let's see, we talked about the first time, we talked about having a really good understanding of yourself, performing that self-evaluation or strengths, weaknesses, etc. Talked about setting goals. And today, we're going to talk about how to get a really good grip of your profession as a whole and how to understand it. A bunch of tips and tricks. So I hope you enjoy what we've got to talk about today. Personally, I've been in the environmental health and safety profession going on close to 20 years. Started when I was 4 years old. Just kidding. That's a joke. I was a lot older than that. But it takes a lot of effort to really understand what's going on in your profession, especially what's going on in your profession outside of your current role and your current workplace. And I think it's critically important for us when we really have a good understanding of who we are, what we want to do, where we want to be, all that kind of stuff, is like figure out the playing field, which is our profession, right? So I'll give you a real life example from my own career search. Last time I talked about it a little bit briefly, but I had to find a job for the first time in a long time. Didn't see that coming, and I benefited significantly from a really strong network. I'm going to close out with next time, and a really good understanding of the profession and kind of the landscape of employment within it. And those became cornerstones of my search. And the big reason why I already had that understanding is because of the positions I've had before. It's a part of the job, right? We got to do market research. We got to understand who people are in our sphere, right? And what they do and what they need and what's changing. So I wasn't really doing research on my profession proactively. It was kind of built into what I was already doing as a consultant. So I had the benefit, but I think everybody should be doing this. When I did hit the job market, I did a little bit more research, just so I could understand what's happening, what's new and emerging, and even a couple of years ago, I sat back and I watched as my clients, peers, friends in the industry, coworkers, etc. They started having other things added to their job title, and this is like, oof, what's going on with EHS? I got to really understand this. It's rare. Well, I shouldn't say it's rare. It's more common now that it's not just environmental health and safety. Right now, it's things like environmental health, safety, and security, or environmental health, safety, and ESG, also known as sustainability. There's a bunch of market trends. If you pay attention, you can identify and take a look at and go back to what we talked about before and say, hey, did my skills transfer here? Is this something I'm interested in pursuing? And for me, I did really want to get a better grip around ESG and sustainability. And I don't have that background from an educational standpoint or work history standpoint, but when I thought about my transferable skills and I started seeing ESG tacked on to peers and coworkers job titles, I started thinking about my transferable skills. And it's like, oh, you know what? I'm really pretty good with data management and interpretation, getting cross-functional collaboration in teams, and so on and so on and so on. And that led to me being able to leverage really what's kind of an adjacent profession, the environmental profession, to break into doing some of that ESG work and some of that sustainability work. It's pretty easy to see that trend coming if you know where to go and look and line your transferable skill sets up against that. So let's talk about that. Let's kind of make sure you get some ideas of how to stay on top of your profession and be familiar with new roles and looking at job descriptions, all that kind of stuff. The first place I start is job postings. It's pretty easy to look at, go in, type in LinkedIn or a job board or whatever, type in safety or EHS or environmental, and you're going to get a bunch of return. And you're going to be able to see, you're going to be able to make yourself familiar with what are the key roles in the professions, what do those job descriptions look like, and figure out if that's something you want to do, right? And you want to have that be part of your goal setting. I've done a lot of that in my career, and it's kind of always paid off. So it's a great way to set goals. It's a great way to expand your skill set and your value to any employer. So how do I do it? So I kind of already mentioned it. I start with job postings. What are the titles? What's the remit? What are they looking for? And I'll give you an easy action item. Go follow ISS. We post jobs every single week. A lot of them the same type of qualification and candidate that we're looking for. But every now and then you're going to see, just by following us, one that pops up and you scratch your head and say, what are they talking about? And go look at it. And you have transferable skills there. You could apply for that, or you could go look, do some more research and figure out if that's something that you want to look for. A classic example there, we're looking for people who know wind tower construction safety. That's really niched, right? And so you can either really narrow or really broad based on what you see that. And if you're not going to follow ISS, that's okay. Go to LinkedIn or Indeed or job boards or whatever it is, and kind of get those emails coming across your inbox. So you can just collect data about what's out there, and you're going to get qualification information, you're going to get salary information, location, industry, and you can use that maybe to set up some of those goals, including the smaller near-term goals. One of which I'm a big fan of. Just go talk to some professionals, right? There's nothing stopping us from picking up the phone or sending that LinkedIn direct message to somebody, myself, Brent, any of our team member, anybody out there. What I know about health and safety in particular, people want to talk about this stuff. They want to talk about what's going on with you and what's going on with them. So don't be afraid. Pick up that phone and make that connect. And the second really good place to go to do some research are some of these things like Glassdoor and even the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. They give you great insight into roles, salaries, and even some of our competitors or potential partners. For example, Shirley Parsons, they issue a fantastic salary research paper every year that you can use to understand where you're at versus peers in the profession, what they're doing, what you're doing, and maybe where you want to go from a salary perspective. And this is kind of the final thought I want to say about this. People who excel at staying up to date and staying relevant in our profession and have the finger on the pulse of it, they're going to network associations to do this. Here's a shameless plug for American Society of Safety Professionals, American Industrial Hygienists, SESHA. There's a bunch of these out there. These organizations give you something no one else does. And that's market intelligence, networking capabilities through local chapter meetings, regional national events, publications, etc. That really helps you stay up to date. And I encourage everybody to find that association that's right for you and be an active participant of that. You will get out an equal amount of what you put in. So in addition to what we talked about before, self-evaluation, making a plan, make sure you know what's going on in your profession. And I can tell you this, the EHS world is transformational. It's super dynamic. It's changing all the time. You need research and a network to help you really understand what it is. And that's what we're going to talk to you about next time is networking. So I hope to see you on the next What's Up Wednesday.